So Pablo's getting his bed ready. Looks like he's ahead of me, which is great as usual. I also want to give some credit to Ed Elders, who did a lot of the heavy lifting before I got here to get the program in place instead of just having a tool. A lot of the time we deploy a tool and don't think about what the supporting processes are underneath that. So between Ed and Pablo, they got a lot of that together. What I like about this is it lets us make fact-based decisions. Instead of, well, I think that those machines aren't secure. I think this or that or the other thing. It's really nice to be able to say, well, here's some scan results, and we've got a lot of data. Now we can make some decisions and speak intelligently instead of it just being my opinion or your opinion. So that's just an incredible boon, not just to someone in a central IT shop, but we've got a couple folks in various administrations here. One of them already had good things to say about what we're doing, which I think is wonderful. So it helps us have visibility into the enterprise as well as several of our smaller IT shops and what they're doing. By smaller, I mean dozens and dozens of staff in some cases. So don't take that to mean small. One of the great things David talked about being able to see the detail. We're also able to see trending at the enterprise level. So that's been fantastic. Pablo will show you some of that. Some of our slides have some very pretty pictures because they're very colorful. I wish there were fewer colors on some of our slides. but it's a very effective way for executive management to understand what's going on. They need, the reports need to be prepared. It takes a little time, maybe some translation to understand what they really mean. But we have found it effectively communicating to an executive level. And I think we've got 200 locations, so being able to go from machine to machine just doesn't begin to scale. So those are some of the things that, from my perspective, have been very valuable. So, Pablo?
Good morning, my name is Pablo Matute. I'm in charge of the Vulnerability Management Program at the SHS. This is an effort that began back in July 2013 with Ed Elders, my former boss. So basically, he hired me and he told me, okay, we want to create this program. It's up to you. Go read some documentation. So I got that book for dummies for Valex, Vulnerability Management. I read it, the soundbook too, and I came up with a scope. So Ed Elders gave me a great scope, an awesome scope. Where you're going to scan all devices and all applications. Get, set, go, So the tool was the Qualys tool. So CTS, Dr. David provided the tool. So we started doing it. So actually, Tom, the scale up from revenue, he came to me and gave me, a crash course on Qualys for 30 minutes and get me set up and off we go. So the ambassador program, this is really important to have this program in place. The ambassador program is, I will go to all the divisions, to all the groups, and talk face-to-face with them. I will explain what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish, what is my role, what is the role, and the deadlines. Some of the meetings didn't go as well as I planned. With some meeting I was, man, where is the door? He's just gonna go cruising to the door and get the hell out of there. But that's part of the ambassador program. You have to go, meet face-to-face, meet with the people who are going to be doing the work. You have to tell really nice to those people, listen, I'm going to give you more work. Okay? Because that's true. My program gives them more work to do. So, transparent reporting. This is a key component of the vulnerability management program. I do remember when I sent a report, a project manager called me. She was really furious and she told me, how dare you use CC my IT director and the DSHS CIO on the vulnerabilities that I have in this application? Well, at the end of the day, the DSHS CIO is responsible if something happened. So I was under instruction that we have to do transparent reporting. So we report at all levels. If something we scan, the IT director is going to know it right away, the DSHS CIO is going to know it right away, and the extended management team is going to know that. Now, create mitigation plans. Create mitigation plans, that was a little sticky situation because some people tell me, can you give me a template? And I say, sure, I give you a template, open Word, type your mitigation plan. I didn't have one, so I come up with one and say, okay, level 5, you have to do it between 15 days, level 4 between 15 days, level 3, 2, and 1 between 20 days, which is going to go into the next monthly cycle. The whole idea is when I send a scan, when we scan and we send the results, the person has 10 days to come up with the mitigation plan. The mitigation plan has to be signed by the technician, by the manager, the business owner, and the IT director. Why? Because it's all about transparent reporting. The IT director needs to know what is going on in his organization. So that is, about the credit mitigation plan, transparent reporting for the program. Going back, how the CTS package benefits, in a big way. We have access to the Qualys tool, the vulnerability management, and the web application scanning tool. It's been really helpful for the SHS. Besides that, we have the web inspect tool that is similar to the Qualys was. So we use both because sometimes, it's really interesting to scan an application with Qualys, and then I scan it with web inspect. So I can see the difference, Sometimes, for example, Qualys at the level 1 says clickjacking. Web inspect clickjacking is a level 5. So, it's interesting to see that. Something that I'm seeing is they both report not encrypted traffic on the network at a vulnerability at a level 3. So, and there's the question, do we have to encrypt all the data in transit in the SGN? So what we have 3 scanner appliances. I start with 1. And then I realized, my God, I have around 1,700 servers. So I decided I would need more scanners. The way we did that is, I analyzed and I said, David, can you give me 2 more scanners? I will need more horsepower to do that. And with more scanners, you can travel when you're doing the scans. Something that we do on a weekly basis is mapping the DSHS network. 1 day a week, I will not tell you which day is because I'm trying to find the wrong devices that we got into the network. So we scan all 23,000 devices connected to the network. You have no idea. Our question was, can it detect wireless access point? Yes, it does, because people still doesn't really, I see links on another report. In another report, I found my book live. So it's an external hard drive that someone actually connected to the network, and we're able to get those rogue devices for it.
Actually, my book live wasn't a rogue device.
Well,
it was surprising to find.
Yeah, it was surprising to find. When we find out to the deal, it was a business reason because they ran out of the space. So the manager authorized to buy this external hard drive to put data on it. So it was a really business issue. So right now we're scanning 1,400 servers a month on a monthly basis. We divided all 1,400 servers are divided in over 100 assets group that I like to call it. The assets group, because the SHS has many administrations, and between the administration there are many divisions, many programs, and any program has their own IT shop. So I divide it in a way that makes sense. So for example, in order to name an asset group, they will start with the SHS, space, the name of the administration. I want to take, for example, CISA, the name of the division, ISSD, the name of the program, SSI, and which customers do they have. For example, they have SSI PAS group, and development server, QA server, production server. So we do a division, really granular to the level. And why do we do that? Because we don't want to send the report to 20 people. And maybe only 1 people is the person who's going to be doing the job. So it makes sense to divide it at that level. So when we send the emails to the people, with the result of the scan, we already know who are we targeting, that they have to, do the mitigation plan on those servers. So right now we're scanning 150 switches and routers. Funny story about this, we have around 367 switches and routers throughout the state. 28 different models. Those models hasn't been updated on the operating system for the last, 4 years, 6 years. So what we decided to do is update those, take 1 device for each model, update that to the latest operating system that the router is going to support, scan it, mitigate those vulnerabilities, and then deploy throughout the state. So we are almost 2 months, and we will have completed, all 367 switches and routers being replaced with a new framework and that kind of stuff, and then they're going to go into a monthly scan. Every month we're going to scan all devices. We have around 100 application scans so far. My goal is to scan all, maybe we have around, 700 applications in DCHS, 800, so we are trying to get to that level. But we have to start small, because I was scanning, so from some administration, I was scanning application once a week, but then they push back and say, well, we have many vulnerabilities, we cannot keep up with that schedule, so we have to give them a break. So right now, starting this month, we decided to start scanning PCs. So far, I have scanned 3,452 workstations. The initial set of workstations was scanned 2 weeks ago. It was around 800 workstations. The second round takes a week and a half ago. We scanned 2,700, and it took less than 4 hours to do that. And this is workstation all across the state. The scanning, it was done quick. The processing, because David mentioned it as SAT application, it has to go to qualities and processing all the information and send back. That took around 5 hours back, 6 hours back. We did it on a Saturday. So we started scanning around 1 in the morning. We scan, by access group. This particular administration with the 700 PCs, it has around 8 access groups. So I schedule, each access group to start on the hour. So 1, 2, 3, 4 until 9 a.m. And then, all the results back were around 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So, we're going to be adding more of each of the server and PCs every time. My goal is to have at least all the workstations scanned on a monthly basis by December. So we're talking about 17,000 workstations and around 1,700 servers during the same period of time. A month. Anyone have a question?
I'm sorry. Should you consider just scanning your high-value assets as opposed to such a broad scope?
Well, as you might be aware, are you in DSHS or no? No. Well, DSHS, more of the data that we have is category 4. So I do believe that people from DSHS, correct me, I'm wrong when I say this, but 96% of the server contains category 4 data.
We have enough servers with category 4 data that we'd end up having to talk to all the groups anyway. Yeah. At some point you just say, never mind.
Yeah, I was probably going to say, never mind, let's do all.
Or you find out that you thought you had those 96% and here's another one server. Just may as well scan everything.
No. So, there is a target that I want to get in the next few months. Something that we did as part of the vulnerability management program is we have to give people the tools to do their job. It's not fair that you scan, you give the report and tell them, go ahead, fix it. So that was a change. So far, by Friday, we're going to have trained around 96 IT staff. They have to go for threat modeling and secure coding practices. So we're doing that right now.
Did you bring someone in from outside to do the training, or are you doing it yourself?
Yes, well, actually, I developed a syllabus for the training myself because my background was a developer. I've been really big into application security development and threat modeling. So I coordinated with Microsoft. I told them, give me some training that is going to be a high level, security development lifecycle, threat modeling, secure practices. We went back and forth to the syllabus until we get into an agreement. We did it that way. So actually, this training is around 3 days training. The first day is security development lifecycle, because all the developer has to know that. They have to know the security development lifecycle. Our coding threat modeling is really essential because before you begin an application, you have to see what are the imminent threats that you're going to be facing in your development cycle. And actually, you have to do secure code development too. So on those 3 days, I give my developers the tools for them to do a better job. So my expectation is when an application comes, when it's come to my review, I should see fewer to none vulnerabilities. And I know that is a big, dream that I have, but hopefully, we will achieve that. So
my question to either one of you was whether that training that you've developed could be made available to the enterprise.
So I think we'd be happy to make the syllabus available to the enterprise. I think additional seats in those classes, you'd have to work with Microsoft to get from, and that costs per hours. But we're happy to make the syllabus available. I don't see any issue with that.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, you
Just to say, Agnes, since we've got 3 minutes, so.
oh, 3 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to speed it up. So another tool to give to my developer is we just released, we just finished an RFP for a short code scanner. The vendor, I'm free to tell you now, we selected Checkmark. Is the tool. We're going to start a pilot in DSHS, and I requested people from DSHS to be on the pilot. So the source scanner tool, I'm going to be reaching around 98% of the application developed in DSHS. So we're giving the training, we're giving the tool, so we expect our application are going to be more secure. And I'm running an RFP right now. I have to get the response from the vendor this week about a database scanner. Why a database scanner? Because we want to know how many people have access to the databases that we don't know now. So that's why I wrote the RFP for the source code scanner and the database scanner. And something that we're doing is we're developing security tasks to be implemented in projects across DSHS. So I started this initiative with Matt. We're putting, you know, what our project manager needs to have in our development, you know, all the security tasks that has to be implemented there. So next time, I'm not going to get a phone call that say, my application has to go in production tomorrow, can you do the security review now? So we and that's actually true, you know, that happened before. So my idea is to get involved from the beginning when they develop application. And then, you know, a part of the CTS offering, we want to be part of the same project too. So whenever that becomes available, I've been throwing some ideas about it, you know, how to implement it in DSHS, you know. As David mentioned, you know, we will go first with the Active Directory log files, and then, you know, with the perimeter and what else comes from there. And we're going to start doing penetration testing. Just to make sure the Qualys tool is really cool because if the Qualys tool gives you a vulnerability and there is the code to exploit that, you can actually take that code and do a penetration testing and make sure that the code that Qualys is giving you is actually the one that's actually, you know, takes over the server. And that will be, you know, more for our experience, you know, to learn more about penetration testing and so on. Any questions?
So I'm going to interrupt. 2 quick things, and then Agnes is going to interrupt me very quickly. First is, I think there's a perception that this creates more work for people. My perception is it doesn't actually create more work. The problems were there all along. The vulnerabilities were there all along. This is identifying them and shining a flashlight on them, but it doesn't actually create new vulnerabilities. So I respect that that's a perception, and I think that's a complete perception. The other thing, and I'll be a little less subtle than one of my colleagues was, we're still hiring 2 more people, so if you're looking for opportunities or you know great people.
Actually, it is a great opportunity. You will be working with me, so please.
We have openings as well. We take